Good morning, dear colleagues. We start our working day in Ukraine Crisis Media Center and give the floor to the Ministry of Defense spokesperson, Colonel Oksana Havryliuk. Good morning. To implement the roadmap of reforms in the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine goes on the work on regulatory acts for reforms. In the framework of this, the Ukrainian government has signed a draft project on redistribution of several budget allocations for the Ministry of Defense for 2016. According to this, the Ministry of Defense will receive additional reserve funds. According to this document, the budget for procurement of military equipment for the armed forces of Ukraine will receive additional 500 million Ukrainian hryvnias and additional 300 million for reparation of military equipment. In the nearest future, this document will be passed for approval to the parliamentary committee. In addition, the Ukrainian government has approved order on signing agreement between the Ukrainian government and the NATO organization for support and logistics on partnership in common management of supplied goods and services that establishes approval procedure and gives the authorities to sign it to the acting head of Ukraine's mission to the NATO. This document is the legislative basis for cooperation between the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense and the NATO in the field of procurement of goods services, as well as logistics and technical maintenance. The Cabinet of Ministers has also signed an order that approves proposal of the Ministry of Defense and Konstantinivka City Council in Donetsk region to pass to the Ministry of Defense the buildings of former neurological department and indoor parking for accommodation of the servicemen. Since the beginning of this year, the ministry has signed 79 regulatory acts in the field of enhancing combat capacity of the armed forces. These legislative initiatives are analyzed by the Ministry of Defense together with Volunteers Council and Project Office of the Reforms. 28 more regulatory acts are currently analyzed in the presidential administration, in the cabinet of Secretariat of the Cabinet of Ministers and the Parliament. In addition, a draft protocol, implementation protocol between the Cabinet of Ministers and the Turkish government is analyzed there. This document will launch cooperation between the two countries in the field of topography, geodesic and cartography according to the interests of both countries. The project of these documents were created in the framework of agreement between the two countries for cooperation in the field of military training, technical and scientific cooperation, and it provides as well protection of secret data exchanged in the framework of this cooperation. On the territory of International Peacekeeping and Security Center in Lviv region have started multinational command staff exercise MAPL ARC 2016. Over 200 servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine, Poland, Canada, and Lithuania participate there. This multinational exercise will contribute to will help to strengthen cooperation between the countries. The servicemen will acquire skills of performing tasks according to NATO standards, will practice performing operations in the multinational units, and will share with their colleagues their combat experience. The armed forces of Ukraine are represented by the 18th 80th Separate Paratroop Brigade. Most of these soldiers have received combat experience in the ATO zone. During the MAPL ARC exercise, the command staff of one of paratroop battalions will acquire skills of multinational operations, peacekeeping operations as a part of multinational units. They will be commanded by by Volodymyr Yudanov, deputy lead Ukr commander. Senior instructors will be represented by the experienced officers of the Armed Forces of Canada they will train servicemen of Litpol Ukr. The multinational exercise will last for 2 weeks, and it will contribute to better cooperation between the armed forces of the participating countries. The Ministry of Defense continues awarding servicemen who perform their duties in the ATO zone. Over the last week, over 370 servicemen received awards from the Ministry of Defense, over 20 received valuable goods, and over 1,000 obtained combatant status. Since the start of the ATO, over 19,000 of the servicemen of the Ministry of Defense have received awards from the ministry. Over 1,600 received awards from the state, and over 183,000 obtained combatant status. Over the last week, military engineers in the ATO zone have cleared from mines nearly 10,000 hectares of land. They defused over 840 explosive devices. Since the start of the ATO, the military engineers have defused over 6,670 have defused over 126,000 mines and explosive devices and clear over 2,000 hectares of land in Donetsk and Lugansk regions. The ministry provides warm uniform to the servicemen who are currently in the ATO zone. As of today, the servicemen in the ATO zone have received 90% of servicemen in the ATO zone have received warm uniforms. They received special hats, warm coats, boots, and special winter lingerie. Since the 28th of October, the units have received over 23,000 boots, 28 sets of field uniform, special wind-protecting coats, and over 4,000 sets of warm lingerie. At the same time, they need more hats, fleece coats, and lingerie that haven't been supplied by the enterprises on time. As soon as the goods will be delivered, we will pass the goods to the servicemen. This will happen in the second part of this month. The ministry also continues ensuring full reserves for heating of the servicemen in the ATO zone. As of today, they have received over 40,000 stacked cubic meters of wood, 10,000 square cubic meters they will receive later till the end of this year, and another 10,000 stacked cubic meters of wood they will receive in January-February next year. Thank you. Dear colleagues, the next event will start in